Everybody. Space heater going here because it is so cold. Yes, I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia area, but it gets kind of cold. Well, I want to show you what I've been working on ideas for jewelry. These are some jewelry pieces that, I hesitate to say I made. I usually list on my Poshmark account, which is Pluswear, Pluswear. I'll usually list it as vintage plus new, because the necklace part, which I think they call a tin cup necklace, or the kind that is, well, maybe it's not, but anyway, that is old, and that's an old necklace that was broken, and I hung on to it for a long time, thinking I would use the pearls for some kind of craft, but then I realized I could just go ahead and I used a lobster clip and some jump rings, and I made a bracelet. And of course, that could be made shorter. It's not adjustable, but it could be made shorter easily by just taking one of those sections out. And then this is another one just like it, except for the closure, instead of a lobster clasp, I put magnets. Now, these magnets are silver tone, which is kind of unfortunate, but you really don't see them when you're wearing it. And look how easy that was to put, if you've ever struggled to put on a bracelet. I do have some metallic permanent markers that I probably could just turn that gold. I'm going to check into that. But anyway, the subject of this video is to, some ideas for photographing jewelry for Poshmark. And so I just have a few things here, and I'm going to give you some examples before. Now, this is a good example. These little earrings are kind of like a copper wire, and of course this could be used for clothing too, this advice, because a lot of it has to do with color. As you see here is not, look how little they are. Now, that's a good thing to show its size, but the problem is you really can't see the earrings very well because the background is almost the same color as the earrings. So what you want to do is move them to a lighter surface. Now, this one has some iridescence, which actually, to me, I try to kind of think about the style of the piece of jewelry that you want to photograph. And although this does show them, it makes these look even more rustic and kind of out of place. So you really don't want to do that because nobody wants to look wrong. Now, my lighting in here is not great. I have some new product lights coming today, the kind with the umbrellas and stuff, and that's going to be awesome. But a lot of times, and I think customers, for the most part, really do prefer a white background. Now, as you can see, there's shadows and everything here because it's not perfectly lit. But let me see if I can get it focused any better. But that's about it. I would take a photograph probably on a white surface like this if I just want to show the photos. If you have a ruler, you could set it here. Some people put a ruler here and a ruler this way. Or you can photograph jewelry on like a mat that has a grid on it, like a scrapbooking mat or something like that maybe with a 1-inch grid. Or you could draw a 1-inch grid and photograph your stuff on it. You could certainly do that, but it's not quite as romantic when you see a grid. That would probably be about picture 2 or 3. You have about 8 places to put photos. But what I would do usually is just photograph it on this white background. And then there is an app that is free called Photo Fuse, and I'll try to remember to put the link down below. But it's free to use at the basic level. And all you do is you just use it on your phone. Just use your finger to swipe the shape of the object that you have photographed, plus the shadow. Well, in this case, I wouldn't want the shadow down here. But that is with the product. You would highlight that also. And then you just press process or work or whatever it is. I forget what it is, start. And it'll give you a new image where the background is very, very white. And you can play with it a little bit and you can adjust it, but it gives a really nice, clear image and shows the jewelry or whatever it is against a white background at its best. And it really makes it look professional. Um, so really with something like this, either, if you have, what would look good with this is something wood, but it would need to be like a honey oak, something like that, like a light wood, because obviously, as we saw here, this darker wood doesn't work. And they're just dainty. So, and there are people who really like dainty earrings, so I would use the word dainty in my listing. But keywords would be another listing, so we'll make that another time. Now here, so let's just take this this bracelet. This is the one with the lobster clasp. Okay, and you can do that. Oh boy, but see, it's boring, isn't it? Like it was okay for earrings, but for this, it's rather boring. So, I mean, you can do that, and I have done that. You can get cute, like take it and put it in the shape of a heart if you want. It's like, still, it leaves a lot to be desired. So I look at it as, it's pearls. Pearls come from the sea. This is just scrapbook paper with this pearl motif. So you could photograph it like this. I'd probably put part on the shell and the starfish like that. Or as easy as this, I keep these little, and you can buy these at a craft store, but I think I got them at an estate sale or something. But pick some interesting shapes. You kind of want to be haphazard. You don't want it to look a little too planned out. And then drape your necklace or your, whoops, woohoo, I bumped it. This is the problem with just having one hand. I'm holding the other one with my phone, my phone, so can't use both hands here. But you kind of get the idea. You would just sort of place them around, make it look just scattered and casual, just cash, as you do, and like that. And you see, we get a lot more of an interesting photo. There we go. And in fact, if you shoot a video like I'm doing now, I'm going to have to see what the quality of the transmission is. But I might be able to watch this video and take screenshots. So you always want to get a close-up, of the clasp. And I always try to make it a habit to always turn it over so you show both sides. And my hand tends to be a little bit bigger than a lot of people's hands, but I'll often just put it across my pork pie fingers here, and so somebody can see the relative size. But then, of course, you want to measure it. And you can measure the inner dimensions. I know that's usually appreciated, like from the inside of this, from this bead to that bead, because that's where their arm has to fit. So basically I would put it in a circle, probably get the diameter, also take it apart right here and get it in a straight line and just measure the total length, but include all that. If you know how many millimeters the bead is, that'll help. Now you could order a bead catalog from a company, and usually they'll have a little chart in there that shows you the sizes of beads in millimeters. So you could just hold your bead on the little scale and it'll tell you. So you can put that in the listing. Let's see. Now the other things I have here, well, here's an example. This is more of a packaging idea, but you see, like, here is an earring I made. It's all new except for the iridescent bits in the chain down there at the bottom. Or did I rebuild the chain? I forget. But anyway, I got the little bird charm, and I just thought it'd be kind of cool to put something underneath. So it's a post earring is the word you would use. And as you can see also here, it's not great on here, But this is the card that I would send it on, so I would probably also photograph it on that. Just make some holes. I just use some scrapbooking paper that's nice, and then of course I put it on here because it's iridescent and it allows some contrast. But then clearing the beads. So really, if you had a lot of jewelry that is seashore related or pearls or whatever, just go ahead and do them all at the same time. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble because you've already got that set up and everything. So like in something like this, and that card is not great. I have some that are cut a little bit better, but I use scrapbooking scissors, and scallop edge is just real cute. So I've got it on there. So I would also take a photograph of it on there, with both on there, because somebody might want to give them as a gift, and it's helpful to, if you have a stamp or a sticker or something, and you can order those from Vistaprint if you like. Might be a way to go. Just use address labels, and you know, you could stick it on the back, and that could advertise your Poshmark store. Although on there's an account called Posh Fixings. I think it's Posh Fixings, and every once in a while they'll have Poshmark branded items like postcards and such. So you might be able to get something like that from there, or you could request it, and maybe they can get it made. But see, and it's really hard when it's post earrings. It's hard to show how it looks on a person. And you see, I've got the really nice backing. I put it's new findings and such on here. So I found that sometimes you can take a box to the box with scrapbooking paper or paint it or whatever, and you can punch holes in it, and you can stick your earrings in it to photograph it. So they'll drop and they right. Actually, I think I have an example. This is not fantastic, and I'm not trying to advertise for Arteza, but this is just to show you. This is a box from some clay tools I got, which I'm not keeping my tools in there, and I almost threw the box away, and then I thought, you know, I kind of like, you know, it has this really this nice design here. It's a little bit too glossy for what I want to use it for, but I'll just show you an example. So where's an earring I can poke in there? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the, sorry, again, I'm one-handed. I'm going to go ahead and throw the packet. Okay, there we go. And then you're going to stick it in there. Now this is more for a one that hangs from the side, so I probably should put holes here as well. But that just gives you a better, you know, an idea how you could do that. And you could cover this part with black construction paper if you wanted. But see, so you don't really have to spend a lot of money to do it. People don't know that it's a box. Another thing people have done is you can take a bowl and put some beans in it. When you have something light colored, like these silver necklaces, just say coffee beans in a bowl, or you know, black beans, you know, dried black beans. People have even used rice. So really you can just do all kinds of things. So you just want, you know, these aren't too bad on here, but it certainly doesn't look at that. Clean off the table, lady. Anyway, it's probably glue, but you know, it doesn't really look like you're buying a nice piece of jewelry when it's on a table like this. Like if you go into a jewelry store, you'll notice they don't use counters that are wood grain like this. It'd be black or it'd be glass, and it would have really nice lights above it and all that. It really has this very luxury feel, and that's kind of what you want to do that in your pictures if you can, but don't go over the top. You don't want to overdo it and make people think that they have to do everything perfectly or they can't Poshmark, because that's ridiculous. You know, plus it is also, it's a distraction when people do that. Well, here's some other earrings. These also have a little pearl in them, and I made these too. But here's an idea. See, there's a this is a little makeup bag that is kind of has a little bit of a pearlescent, but it also has this wood grain, and I found that makes a really nice background for some things, you see? Because it gives the photo some texture. Oops, see if I can get a good position here. But it gives your picture some texture, so it's not too boring. Whoops, except I have that in the wrong place because this is where it goes on your ear, so you got to get it kind of the right way. See? And maybe one higher than the other, kind of like that. And now we have something a little bit more interest. So that's one idea. You don't want it on anything, you don't want a surface that's too busy where your item is competing. See, in this case, that does seem to highlight that it's silver. But I think I would probably want maybe a black velvet background. That's nice for this. Okay, now let's see. Here's another idea I have for you. This is a little fake flower doodad thing. It's a when pigs fly, right? Right here by my salt and pepper shaker, you know? This is not a photo studio. It just goes to show you. So, especially like I do have a bumblebee pin. That would be adorable because that makes sense, you know? You just always want to make sure that you explain that your listing, if it is, that your listing is only for the earrings, you know. But look at that. Now you want to, because these are like a mother of pearl, keep turning them until you get that nice, see the nice sheen that they have. And you don't want to over advertise, you know, don't make everything look better than it is, but about even to what it is good. I always like it to look pretty good, but I like the reality when they get it. I want it to be better than the photos, so there's absolutely no disappointment then. But here's some Edgar Barabi. He's a designer, and these are from the 80s. So find the top. Yeah, it's kind of weird. The top doesn't quite, they're not exactly in the same place. I don't know. That's so strange. But anyway, I'm not sure. They look a little bit too big, but I definitely would hold them in my hand and take a photo like that. And then you can always get a little of the flower in the background, which is nice. It makes the photo a little bit prettier than just this. So just a hint of a flower in the background is nice. Let's see. Now these are some, see, they're blue and gold looking, but it's actually brass, and you won't believe what I made these out of. Can you guess what that is? These drop things are very popular right now, and the finding is new. And then I put in a little jump ring, and it's a piece of sequin, but the bottom thing that is hammered is actually from it's a fishing lure, believe it or not. Isn't that cool? I got those in an estate sale, so they're old or antique fishing lures. I also got some squirrel tails and stuff. I haven't figured out what to do with them. And then this is one that is, this is one of the fishing lures that I did not put a sequin on. So which do you like better? Sequin or no sequin? Because I was thinking about I could do them different colors, but I just know blue and gold looks so nice together. I love it. So there's another example of, let's take them and put them over here. Boop, boop, boop. Now these would look good hanging on that box. Oop, let me get you in the picture, I'm sorry. See, they'd either look good hanging on the box, or, you know, I would also probably take a picture on here, because that helps people see what it looks like. Now, when you have something that has quite a bit of design, you don't want to use a background that has a lot of design because they can compete against each other. So in this case, I would go with, you know, I'm going to go hang it from here. That's why this box is actually pretty useful. I have to clean these. It's pretty useful because it has the pattern on one end and no pattern on the other. And let me see if I can get that in there without tearing it up. Yeah, we definitely want to poke some holes in there. But see, so that's what you can get out of it. But I would probably, arrange my camera or my phone so I can get a really good angle on there. Let's get this one in here. It's unfortunate. I've also tried, because my mannequin does not, I have a mannequin, but she doesn't have any ear holes. I thought about drilling some, but then it made me a little nervous because I thought, what if her head shatters? It would render her unusable for anything with a shattered head. So, I didn't do that, but I did use like a painter's tape one time, and I kind of hid the tape, and I taped the earrings to her. But you would think that with a nice 3D ear and everything like that, and it was a pretty good photo, that you would think that the item would sell really fast, but it actually has not. There we go. See? So anyway, I would obviously get my hands out of the picture, but that's just to give you an idea. And let's see, these are some other fishing lures that I have. I'm going to do some like this as earrings, but I have these little jewels, so I think I'm going to use some jewelry adhesive and maybe put some jewels in there, because blue and silver is nice too. As you can tell, I like blue. So let's see what else I have to show you. Well, that is basically it for right now. I've got other stuff I'm making that I can show you later, but if you've been thinking about selling on Poshmark, I would encourage you, just go for it. Pick one item and realize that Poshmark's fees are going to be either $2.95 or they're 20% of your total sale well, not total sale, excuse me. It's not going to be total sale, 20% of the subtotal, but only when the item sells. So it's free to list on there, so why the heck not? Why not give it a shot? And so what I would do is just say you want to get $10 for an item. Well, the shipping is going to be $6.79 or so, and you don't really get any of the shipping. The customer seems to feel like the seller gets some shipping, but we don't. So I would take like maybe you could share the shipping with the customer. So rather than almost $7, consider you'll pay about $3 or $3.50 of it. So let's just say $3, and then your fee. Just say your fee is $3. So that's $6. So when you list your item for 10, maybe I shouldn't go into math, but anyway, you'd only get about maybe $4. So you want to, if you want to get 10, then you're probably going to want to bring your price up to about 6 or 7. I'm sorry, not 6 or 7. I mean about 16, or 17 or something like that. And so you have a little bit of wiggle room when people send you an offer. Don't be insulted by offers. Think of it as they're interested in the item, and go ahead and start a conversation about you can remind them in a nice way that you would love to give them a better price, but there's fees and all this, so you can give them a better price if they bundle their items. But I'm not going to get into all the pricing right now. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent, but that is essentially it. You really want to just start with a good listing. Make sure you have the size. Make sure you take advantage of all the photos. I use that photo fuse to take away, to make the background really nice and white if you want to get rid of backgrounds. And then I use Pic Collage, which is another app that's free at the basic level, but I did go ahead and pay for it because I use it so much, and the ads would kind of slow me down because I want to go ahead and get work done when I can get work done. But between those two and then Poshmark, you can really get a lot in those photos. I work to try to get collages so I can show as many pictures as possible of the item, of the tag. If it's jewelry, it's going to be maybe any markings that are on there, if it's 14 karat gold filled or whatever, that kind of thing. And by using those collages, that allows me to get a lot more to the customer. So that is about it, and I will talk to you all later. Bye. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I really do. Talk to y'all later. Bye.